the quarterback has made it to what it is. It's unstoppable in many ways. If you don't catch them on a B game and he stays in rhythm, you're not going to stop this offense. So because of like the way that he has played football this year, in one of those two things, we have no evidence of him not being an elite quarterback. Whether you think he's one of those guys you win games because of the Patrick, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrows, I think that's probably it right now. That's up for, we need a bigger body of work. But right now, we have no evidence that he's not.
Well, we kind of do, because we did see him play in a few games where you took out, I think, like 2 of the 6 superstars on the San Francisco 49ers, and he did struggle a bit. And I say that with a significant caveat, and I almost wish I had started this way. I think Brock Purdy is a very good quarterback playing at a high level in a dominant offense. My interpretation of elite, however, is what you articulated at the end there, Dan, which is this quarterback one of the like 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL? Is the team winning because of them? When I watch him on tape, do I see the quarterback making plays and throws that transcend the scheme and the situation around him? I don't think Purdy fits into all of those buckets the way, again, we're talking about like 3 or 4 quarterbacks here at the top of the NFL do. And I hate that in saying so, some people will interpret that as discrediting him or hate, because I think that's a really silly binary. It's not MVP or trash. You can be an extremely good quarterback who deserves praise. I just wouldn't put him in the, and the question was, elite category with the Mahomeses and the Allens and the Jalen Hurtses of the world.
Is he an elite talent? No. Like, those guys are elite physical talents that have the quarterbacking traits that make them elite quarterbacks. So no, he's not an elite physical talent, but his play is elite. Here's like some pushback I would have. MK, you don't think he's making throws in their offense that transcends the offense?
What do you mean transcends the offense? Like
that lifts the offense
top tier.
That lifts the offense to places it hasn't been?
Well, if we're using that bar of like the Jimmy Garoppolo bar, I do think he clears it in that he is making more plays outside of structure and throwing, I would say, down the field and outside the numbers in a way that Garoppolo didn't totally. But again, for me, is an elite quarterback is he operating the offense at a higher level than Jimmy Garoppolo? And I want to hit one other thing, Dan. You talked about how the quarterbacks, Allen, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, they have the physical tools that Brock Purdy doesn't have. I would also argue that they have shown mental tools. I'm not saying that Brock Purdy isn't, a good processor and all of that, but when I think about those quarterbacks and the performances that they've put out there over the last few years, there are games where you see them solving defenses in a way that I don't think we have seen from Brock Purdy. Now, you could contend, well, he doesn't have to because of the offense. I think that would be fair. And that would be an appropriate pushback. Well, he hasn't been in a situation where he's had to prove, can I win when I'm trailing? Can I consistently win on 3rd down? Can I solve a defense who's doing difficult things to me? We haven't seen that from Brock. He hasn't been given that opportunity in a way these other quarterbacks have.
Fair. I also think because of like the connected style of his play, he just doesn't get into as many like 3rd and obvious pass situations as some of the other guys do, just because the efficiency and how he operates. I do think he makes throws on a relatively, I would say, Mina, it's the best quarterback play that Kyle Shanahan's ever had. And he had an MVP in Matt Ryan. He had a
more
guy
than Matt Ryan in 2016?
By anything that we want to look at, the play from Brock is better. And Matt had Julio Jones. And so, and Devontae Foreman, who was unbelievable running the football. I also think this, MK, I'm sorry, I think that Brock Purdy and Tua, and everyone's going to say, Dan, you said Mac Jones would be, doing the same stuff that Brock. That was more of a, praise for Mac Jones thing.
About Mac Jones, yeah.
I think that Brock Purdy and Tua are 2 quarterbacks that I honestly don't believe any guy in the NFL can play in their offense at the level that they're playing at, because they're still.
I completely disagree.
So you think a player like a Josh Allen could go play to the same level that Tua is at Miami?
No, I think if you took Dak Prescott and put him in San Francisco, they would be like, I mean, they're already the best offense in the NFL. I think they would be unbelievably dominant. But I want to hit, you said something about third down. Because I said, well, Brock Purdy's not in a situation where he's having to make again, that's not Brock Purdy insult, Brock Purdy insult. That's the nature of the offense. But let me ask you again, this offense is unbelievable efficiency on first and second down. Yep. How much of that would you attribute to Purdy versus the scheme, the optionality, the fact that we talk about this all the time on NFL Live, the compromise that they put defenses in on early downs in particular because of the run action?
Yeah, a fair chunk, a significant amount. But I'm not holding that against the young man, because at some point you got to be the person that's operating on a consistent basis. So, I think we both agree that the scheme and the people that are part of the scheme are definitely a huge part of the success. But he has taken that and made it in a different stratosphere than in my opinion, that we've seen in Kyle's offense. I really believe that, just because of how consistently efficient they are.
Is Josh Allen being unfairly criticized this season?
Well, I don't know actually what you guys argued about this morning, so I'm coming in here blind, so I don't know who I'm going to agree with. I absolutely think he's being unfairly criticized. Actually, I saw some of the criticism. I was still out on leave when the Bills played the Eagles, and I was at home watching some of the takes after that game, and people either criticize Josh or perhaps not give him credit. That was one of the best quarterbacking performances I've seen of the last 5 years. He's playing out of his mind right now. And earlier we were just talking about what makes an elite quarterback. I mean, put on that tape. That is an elite quarterback, somebody who is making all of the throws, making plays with his legs, extending, playing inside and outside of structure, inside and out of the pocket. He was utterly dominant, and certainly not the reason why the Bills lost that game or have struggled in recent weeks. Frankly, if they were winning, and they're 6-6, they're obviously not a 6-6 team, he would be in the MVP conversation. I believe that with my whole heart. So now I get to find out whose side I'm on. It looks like Dan's, unfortunately, based on his facial reaction.
Is Lamar Jackson worth the mega contract that he got?
And I said absolutely.
No. So
Nino's with me.
Yes, right. We agree that. But my point is, when you act like Josh Allen is the only one who is unfairly criticized, that is not true, my guy.
No, I didn't say the only one,
true.
but
I don't think he's saying he's the only one.
Unfairly the most.
But I don't.
Him or Dak.
Dak gets a lot.
Great point. Him and Dak. Yeah,
you're right.
But so Josh isn't the most. He's not the most. Like, it's just, it's. We all agree.
He's the most. Yeah, but I think what you said about Burrow and about Joe Burrow and Mahomes absolutely is true. I say that as somebody who, for a reason, if you can hear her crying, sat home and watched sports television for 2 months. Dan is right. Josh Allen went through the ringer on our network, and I disagreed with a lot of the takes at the time. I think he's been playing outstanding football this year.
Yeah. Mina, we hear the little cutie. Way to multitask, represent all women out there.